Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Yeah, the crystals are here. So today we're going to talk about the place of the third party in your relationship or marriage. So we're gonna hear from Mr. Christos. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah. So we're going to talk about the place of third party in your relationship or marriage. Now, we'll talk about them in two categories, right? But first of all, as a form of introduction, you see, in marriage is a union between two, right? That in Christianity it makes you one. The number one third party in your marriage is God. Okay, so, because marriage was instituted by God and you can't run it alone, it is with God that marriage can thrive. Otherwise, if you use any other manual and any other source of help other than God, you are bound to have all manner of chaos in your marriage. So, but that does not negate the place of some form of human influence, which we'll explain as we move further. But then we're talking about third party. Let me start from the context of relationship. You see, where is the place of third party and how did we especially and how do we handle the place of third party? You see, my own orientation and mindset around third party in relationship, third party could be as a form of, in the form of friends, right? um it could be in form of any other voice you are hearing. Third party is simply any other influence outside the both of you. So in the context of relationship, I have not been a fan of third party in the sense of letting people know the in and out of my relationship. Of all the people, in fact, people used to say I was a very secretive person because I don't see any reason why. I've seen a lot of relationships collapse and maybe made a lot more complicated because um, things around the relationship were shared with others. So I've not been a fan, and that has helped me even in the context of marriage. And why that is important for you is because you see the whole concept of mama's boy and the rest is all because of people who don't have a will of their own or a mind of their own. They allow other people determine or define what happens in their lives. So even my friends today, if you ask my friends what's the update are about my marriage, none of them knows. None of them has an idea. So likewise, okay, I sought the endorsement of course my friends for this damsel here when I wanted to marry her. But I was still the person left with the choice as to whether to marry her or not. You understand my point? So even when you're in a relationship, I don't think is wise. I know of people that they will you can't imagine yourself going to tell your friends how bad or the of course we know that nobody is perfect, right, in a sense, but that because you had a quarrel or you have an issue with your partner, the whole world now knows in the quest of you trying to say a problem shared is half solved. While that is true in some sense, but it's not entirely true. And even if it's true, the problem shared is also important. You know who you're sharing it with. And in our own context as believers, the primary place we share our issues is with God. That's where number one, you get help from, you get healing from. And then secondly, you get the instruction on how to go about it. Okay. So um third parties. It's important, the first crisis that came into marriage, Adam and Eve. What brought about that was third party. Satan came with another influence, challenging them by saying, God knew that if you take this, your eyes will open and you'll be like God. And she also influenced her partner, and that was where crisis came about. But you see, are we trying to say that you should not seek for help where necessary? There are better channels, God's way to seek for help than roaming. Do you know? Imagine telling five of your friends about something that happened between you and your partner. Number one, the story will be twisted. And then secondly, you are not guaranteed of the right counsel. It's possible they are limited in knowledge or they have grievances against your partner and they will feed you with all manner of junks and you will act on it and then ruin your marriage. there are a lot of people that are angry out there. You don't know who is after your success and who is actually waiting for your downfall. And then we are out there. I know right now we're in a generation where privacy is now more an asset than ever before. Before, nobody cared. Before, the world was structured in a secretive form. The world was naturally private in the sense that people didn't know a lot. But right now, the social media age, the internet era has brought a lot of things to limelight, such that secret is everybody almost knows everything about everybody. So it takes a level of deliberateness to shield yourself. But yet, people are still allowing themselves to be vulnerable to share everything there is about themselves, and then empowering the enemies out there to hurt them the more. Okay, so what we are advising here today with regards to third parties, we recommend that you limit who you say what to. I mean, to the extent of families. This is very important because there's this analogy in the context of marriage now. There's an analogy that is usually made that, okay, do you think that when you, let's say I have an issue with my wife today, and I want to, I'm trying to, I go to my mother. I don't even discuss my marriage with my parents. Funny enough, our parents usually call, especially my parents, they will say, you don't even call to tell us how you are doing, what. I just say, we are fine. You don't need to worry yourself. So imagine if we have an issue with my wife, and the next person I want to call is, rather than sitting together to tackle it together, the first person I want to call is my mom to maybe intervene or to report. You see, no matter how wise my mom is, there's this innate tendency to want to be biased towards your own in quote. You understand? So that's why if you must have a counselor, if you must have a go-to person, it should be someone that's why most times we recommend a pastor. In fact, not most times, that's the most recommended. Okay, you should have a spiritual figure over your lives. For us, we have a spiritual father. Today, if my wife does something that I'm doing my part to see that it works and it doesn't, I consulted God, I did all the prayers and whatever, every other method I could, and it doesn't. The next person I would go to is my pastor, not my parent, because I know he would handle it without any form of bias. Okay, and this has been tested and proven. There are pastors that are worth submitting your marriages to. Okay, and your secret. Those ones are well trained, they are well groomed, and their marriages are a model that you can with every transparency open your marriage to and don't feel condemned, and yet get the best unbiased counsel from. Okay, so this other side is regards um protecting your marriage from negative influences. By that I mean, there are people, there are enemies of marriage out there. We have to be sincere. That's where the whole concept of side chicks and sugar daddies and whatever come from. Okay, how do you tackle um other the other opposite sex? Okay, now that you're married, right? For us, I don't think that has been a big deal because okay, in this marriage, I think I am more the jovial person. I'm more the outspoken person. I am more the people person. I'm not saying my wife doesn't relate to people, no, but I'm saying I'm more the extroverted person, let me put it that way, than she is. And before I even explained it further for her, I was telling her that it will even get more ambiguous as we proceed in this marriage because I will be involved in so many things. She knows my life's assignment and all, and it involves dealing with a lot of people. Okay, and she's more like the opposite of me. We could be taking a walk, and I could greet 10 persons I know, and maybe it's just one person or none that she will get to greet on the way. That's how we are, and we know that about ourselves. You get, but then managing other opposite sex is very important for the security of your partner. And how do I get to make her feel secured? Number one, she knows the place of my heart and my integrity. I am very open with my conversation and interactions with whoever I do out there. Okay, very important. And you are in that relationship or in that marriage, you are starting with the responsibility of protecting your partner from feeling insecure, or from protecting your marriage from the influences of other third parties, which are maybe hunting, Sometimes this even happen innocently. You might be interacting as friends with someone outside your partner. In fact, the number one answer to this is for you to know that your partner should be your best friend. And that's why we keep saying marry your best friend, marry your best friend. It's very important. So that you'll not start giving ears to, if your partner is not your best friend, ensure to work on it that your partner or your husband or your wife becomes your best friend. It is very important. uh, like I said, there are enemies of your marriage, and then sometimes innocently, a friend you had in the past that you've just been chatting, calling each other, and all of that. Before you know it, emotions, the law of attraction begins to play. Somebody you begin to interact with often. Before you know it, likeness begins to come, and before you know it, things start amplifying and become something you never planned for. So you are starting with responsibility of protecting your spouse. I have done that in several ways. Number one, I wonder when I see couples passwording every app on their phones. The only password, and it's for the sake of maybe theft, which I'm not hoping for, and what else? Maybe children or whatever. But that's the only, and she even knows the password. That's the only password on my phone. But there is no other password. In fact, there is, of all the password I have, whether to my ATM card or to whatever, there is none that she doesn't know. She knows the password to open my phone, and there is no other app on my phone that is passworded. And even if there is, she knows the password, but there is none even. Okay, so why transparency? Be honest to each other. Okay, you are further securing the trust of your partner is very important. We're in a very sensitive world. You don't want to you don't even want to give the devil a chance. You don't want to capitalize on anything to ruin your home. Okay, so protect your home from the influence of third parties in the context of um, maybe allies, relationship, friends, and then the other part is from people that are likely to ruin your marriage, that are coming purposely to ruin your marriage. You understand? Protect that. Have a firm boundary towards the opposite sex, especially. Have a firm boundary. Let everybody know that okay, you are married, number one, and you are never ready for any extramarital affairs. And then in the marriage, protect your spouse. Make them have a sense of security, every form of security, that they are your number one and your number last. Okay.
Okay, so it's not only about your opposite sex. Let's say your best friend. Your best friend is a lady.
Hmm.
Like your best friend as a lady. Let's say before you get married, you have a best friend. I'm talking to the ladies now. And you have a misunderstanding with your husband. You went to talk to your friend, my dear. First of all, it's not everyone you think is your friend that likes the fact that you're married. Some of them are not married and they are angry. They are not happy you're married. They are they are upset. They are
Yeah,
telling them in
jealous.
their house, like their mom is saying, see your friend is married and you are still here. You are still here. The thing is hurting them. So you can't go and be telling them your problem with your husband. I've seen a situation whereby a lady went to tell her friend, this is what my husband is doing that I don't like. And the lady took it, like she used it to her advantage. She went to use it against the husband. And he fell for it because she already knew the weakness. She knew the weak points because her friend was just telling her, she was saying it innocently. She didn't know that you were talking to the wrong person. And she was thinking, this is my best friend. She can't do anything to me. She love what will make me progress. But you don't know. Don't just trust anyone. Let your
No
husband be.
assumption.
Yeah, no assumption. Let your husband be your best friend. When you want to talk to somebody, please don't talk to your friend. Go and talk to your pastor. That's if you have to talk to somebody. You need to go and talk to your pastor. And to the guys, you can't say because my wife is hurting me, let me go and talk to my ex. That person is looking for opportunity to give you shoulder so that you can lean on. So please be wise. Wise up.
Very important. Don't be naive. Don't be naive. We're in a very crazy world. And like I always say, that you are young or that we are young doesn't mean we are stupid. Both of us are under 30. And it doesn't mean that we are stupid. We didn't get married because we want to prove a point. We got married because um, we understand the rudiments and the place of marriage in our life. And the fact that we are young, it was Timothy that was telling, I mean, rather, it was Paul that was telling Timothy to not let anyone despise his youth, right? He told him to be an example of the believers in word, in doctrine, in conversation, in charity, in purity, in conduct, and all. Okay, so you can be young and full of responsibility, a sense of responsibility. So please, we are sure you have picked one or two here. We are telling you very practical things, things we practice. So, and we pray that God will give you discipline to
Yes.
also
Not to run to
practice,
your mom.
not to run to your mom, not to run to your best friend. That even when you are hurting, you will trust the Holy Spirit to grant you the wisdom on how to go about it, and then talk it out with your spouse, or maybe forgive and forget, or whatever. Okay. So we hope you enjoyed today's episode.
And see you next time.
See you next time. Like,
Share
share,
and
subscribe.
comment.
Let's meet in the comment section. There
Bye.
could be that you have it could be that you have questions or whatever. Just put it down in the comment section. We are there to chat with you.